date a bus driver? You. Would you date
If
a
he
bus
owns
driver?
the bus, if he owns
No.
it, if he owns the bus,
See,
a
that's
young
a
one.
problem. That's a problem. That's a problem
Okay.
because the standards and requisites, and I'm not talking about him laying on his sofa playing video games all day. I'm not talking about that. But the standards and the criteria that we use to measure men is off for who we are as women and who they are in this society. I would date a bus driver if he loved driving the bus, if he was a man of integrity, if he was good to his mama, if he treated me well, I would date a bus. Would you date a bus driver? Date a
If he
bus
owns
driver.
the bus.
This clip is what inspired me to share my experience with having this successful moment and then being 100% sabotaged by the person I was dating. And so the question isn't to professional women, would you date a man that makes less than you, doesn't have the same education that you have? The question is to this whole collective of men, and what are you doing to unpack the internalized misogyny that you've been raised with and the patriarchy that you buy into that tells you that because you are a male, that you should have more money, you should have more power, you should demand and require and experience subservience. What happens when that position that you were taught your entire life you are entitled to, a woman now holds that position? How can you have a healthy relationship with someone that has what you believe you were supposed to have? That's the question.
Now, to some degree, what she said is true. Systematically and just on core values alone, men were brought up to think that they're the ones that's supposed to be running the household, earning the money, providing for the wife and kids. Now, it saddens me that she would use that and turn that terminology into something that was negative or threatening. Then to ask the question, what should a man do or how should a man feel when it's the woman that's earning the income, making the money and taking care of the household? We got to think about the fact that we live in different times. We can no longer bring our kids up on just that traditional value alone, that the man is meant to be the provider. Because in the time that we currently live in, if you're not 80 years or older, you have lived in a time where you have seen women go out here, get educated, earn an income, and are able to sustain themselves and the family just as well as a man can. But young men are not being taught that, hey, it's a possibility that you will get into a relationship where the woman will be providing for you. It's being taught to young girls, but it's not being taught to young men. So what really has to happen in order for us to come to this common ground? We're going to talk about that, but let's watch the next clip.
You. Would you date
If
a
he
bus
owns
driver?
the bus, if he owns
No.
it, if he owns the bus.
See, that's
So I keep seeing this clip and I have a bone to pick with Iyanla. What I'm noticing just in the world in general and as I'm coming into womanhood, the world is not ready for Black women with standards and preferences. Everybody wants us to take what we're given and be grateful and smile and giddy. And that's just not the case. At no point in time did Ebony job shame. At no point in time did she put this imaginary person down. But what was pivotal for me is that an older Black woman is telling a younger Black woman to basically take what she's given. And her having a standard is the problem. And what a lot of people don't even realize, especially older Black women, is that we learned from y'all's mistakes. We don't want the men that y'all have. We don't want the treatment that y'all got. And instead of supporting us in that fight, you're resentful because that's what you chose not to do.
She said the world isn't ready for Black women to have standards and preferences. You know, it saddens me to see that my Black women, are having this conversation as if it is unique to them, when in all actuality, the white woman in America was having this same sort of power struggle with the white man long before the Black woman was. Now, she went on to talk about how the younger women of this generation don't want the same sort of men that these older women want. They don't want the same sort of lived experience, don't want the same sort of treatment that those older women received, when in all actuality, majority of these young women don't want to be anything like the women that came before them. Regardless of whether that woman is in a good, healthy, happy relationship or married, or if she's successful in her business, they don't want to hear it. They don't want to take the advice of the women that came before them. That has never been the case for us men. Anytime we see a man that's older than us, that are doing better than us, what do we say? Oh man, I want to be just like you when we grow up. Even as grown men ourselves, we see a man that's 20 years plus, 10 years plus doing better than us, we still say that. If you don't believe me, check out this podcast right here with Jordan Peterson. They break it down, they talk about it, how these younger girls don't want to hear the advice of the women that came before them. It's almost like they're scared to become them, the good or the bad. Truth be told, ladies, when it comes to the standards of black women, since y'all want to make this so unique to y'all, when it comes to the standards of black women, there is nothing wrong with having standards. We all should have standards for the life that we are choosing to live. If we have a direction for where we want it to go, there's nothing wrong with that. The issue is when you put monetary value over the value of that individual's happiness and the love that you can potentially have with that person. There are more successful black men than there has ever been before. And guess what? There are far more successful black women than there are black men. Guess what? There are also more black women than there are black men. Y'all outlive us, y'all outnumber us. And if y'all are out succeeding us, and when it comes to finances, then in order for you to find this love, if you're gonna stick to the black man, you're going to have to lower them standards down for love, because that's what you should be striving for, not the monetary. Because for my black women, if every last one of y'all continue to choose, just like you're doing, to only be with the man that is above you, then guess what? Unfortunately, it also means that you are potentially choosing to be single and alone for the rest of your life. I'm about to make a video real soon. I'm gonna do a live stream right here on this channel of a documentary that explains exactly what that looks like for people. And it's not a good look. In order to truly understand how the issues that we're having in the dating market is impacting us, you have to understand what the issues are in society right now. Right now, we're living in a time where men have come to a realization that not only do they have to compete with men to be in certain positions, but now they're also finding themselves having to compete with women. And just like the dating pool, how a lot of men are opting out of wanting to date at all, a lot of men are opting out of wanting to compete against women. Because what happens when you compete against women and women win? Just like the woman that's earning more money than the man that's living in a home with her, she will not have any respect for him. She will not listen to him. She will be more argumentative with him. And 8 times out of 10, she will file a divorce from him. Ladies, if you truly desire to be in a relationship with a man, I urge you to find yourself a good man, one who is competent, one who cares about you and himself, one who treats the people around him with kindness and respect. Let that be the man that you settle down with. So I'm gonna end this video a little bit different than I was originally planning on doing. So I have sat here with myself and asked myself the question, what are my standards? What are my non-negotiables? What are my requirements of a woman in a relationship? So I have written down here 7, not a long list, just 7 non-negotiables for what I expect or want out of a woman in a relationship. So let's read this off. The first one is she got to be happy with what it is that she does. Regardless, I don't care. She can be working at McDonald's. She can be working as a school teacher, making 30, 35K a year. Whatever it is that she does, she got to be happy doing it. She shouldn't have to come home and whine and complain at all about her job. Number 2, she has to be empathetic. I have to be able to see that this woman has the ability to empathize with others outside of herself. That's very important to me, because that also is a prerequisite to who she will be as a mother. And let's get into the third one. She has to be motherly. I have to be able to see that this woman has the qualities within her to give a child what only a mother can give. Number 4, femininity. And I'm not talking about that, oh yeah, I'll be feminine if a man is playing his role. No, I need my woman to be feminine at all times. I have enough masculinity for both of us. Number 5, she has to actively be working on her mental and physical health. This world is dishing out too much negativity to us on a daily basis for us to not be able to check ourselves to make sure that we don't lose ourselves. Number 6, she has to look nice. Obviously, if I'm gonna be looking at you every day, I need to be enjoying what it is that I'm looking at. And it also makes you feel good when you look good. Last but not least, number 7, a high sex drive. If she can't handle it every day, then she need to be able to double down on them days that she can. Ladies and gentlemen, those are my requirements. And I argue to believe that most men have the same sort of requirements or similar requirements. And nowhere in there did you see where I was expecting of a woman to be earning so much more money than me, or was I expecting to be the man to want to be with a woman that I am out earning. Anyway, y'all leave y'all thoughts, comments, and opinions down below, and I'm gonna catch y'all in the next one. See ya.